Hi everyone, hope we are all doing great. This is the second video about GenServers and we are gonna see how we can send internal messages within the GenServer and also how we can deal when we add heavy logic inside the handle cast of a GenServer. We saw that using the cast and call, we can send messages to the GenServer and handle those messages according to the logic that we want to execute. That two-way of sending messages was the one that in which we can expose some public function, so we make communication with the GenServer. But we can also have another way of sending messages to the GenServer, and is a way in which there are internal messages. In order to do that, we can execute process.send or process.sendAfter to send messages. This message type can be handled using the handleinfo callback. So in this case, we are gonna see a GenServer that will be storing the amount of successful and failed transactions of our application and will be periodically check and update the transactions count. So first of all, we need to add our GenServer as a child of the supervisor, and we are gonna have this module called periodic work. In this GenServer, we wanna achieve two goals: store as the state the counter of failed and success transaction, and also check from time to time if there are new transactions and update the internal state of the GenServer. So in this case, in the client part of the GenServer or the public function, instead of just set an empty list at the state, we are gonna use a map in which we are gonna be storing the amount of success transactions and the amount of the failed transactions. As we can see, the initial state will be 0 for both values, so we are gonna just start a GenServer with that value. Then we are going to have two public functions. One is called update state in case that we want to replace the entire state of the GenServer. And then we are going to have the get element function, the one that will be retrieving the state. In this case, the counter of successful and failed transactions. Then in the internal callback functions or the server part, we have the init function, but in this case, instead of just returning the tuple OK state, we are gonna add the sentence process.sendAfter. So adding this, what we are gonna do is after some time, in this case after 5 seconds, we are gonna send a message to this process. For that, we are gonna use the self function, and the function that we wanna call using the handle info is the one that is called update transactions counter. So in this case, we are gonna have the handle info callback, the one that this is triggered by the process.sendAfter. And in this case, we are gonna add the logic that check if there are new transactions that are finished. And in that case, we are gonna add the amount of success transactions and failed transaction to the current state of our GenServer. The get finished transactions is the function that we are gonna call to get the finished transactions. In the tuple, we are gonna return in the left side all the transaction that finished with success, and in the right part of the tuple, we are just gonna return the one that actually failed. Right after we have this use value, we are just updating the current state of our GenServer, adding that new values to the current counter. Right after, we are gonna execute again the process.sendAfter. So this way we are gonna triggering again this logic, the one that will be checking and updating the state of the GenServer after 5 seconds. So let's give this GenServer a try. We are gonna start our application, And in the application startup, we can see that here we are setting to check for transactions every 5 seconds. So this is in the init function, the one that will be calling the process.send after. So we can see in the logs that every 5 seconds we are checking for new transactions and updating the state of our GenServer. If we check the current state of the GenServer, we can see that if we execute the get element, we have this counter of failed and success transaction, but after 5 seconds we can see that this value is being updated. So with this GenServer we can have a periodic worker that manage and update the transaction counter. Let's take a look to this GenServer. In this case, we are gonna have again the client part of the GenServer and then our server part or the internal callback function of the GenServer. In this case, in terms of the public API function, we are gonna have two operations. The first one will be called check for new currencies and will be triggering the GenServer.cast. This function will just check if we have new currencies to update our GenServer, and in that case, we'll add those new currencies to our internal state. In this case, our handlecast function for check new currencies will just simulate that we are gonna checking if we have new currencies. So in this case, we are gonna have a heavy operation. This operation will take 3 seconds, and after it finish, we're gonna return a list of currencies. This list of currencies will be the one that we are gonna be adding to our GenServer as the state. So let's take a look about what is the behavior of the GenServer if we add a heavy operation inside a handlecast operation. We are gonna start a new console and just gonna copy and paste the module name. In this case, we are gonna execute the get element, the one that will be handled by the GenServer.call. In this case, the current value is just an empty list because we don't have any currencies in our GenServer yet. And let's see what happens if we execute the check for new currencies, the one that will have a heavy operation, and right after we are gonna execute the get element to check for the GenServer state. In this case, if we execute the get element, we can see that the GenServer is blocking the client, and obviously this is not a good design because the client will be blocked until the function is finished. In this case, the client will be blocked for 4 seconds. Let's find a solution for this. In this case, we are gonna have the exactly same GenServer, but in this case, we are gonna make a modification in our handlecast function. In this case, we are gonna use the goodnesses of the task, and in particular, we are gonna use the task.supervisor.assign This function will start a task that can be awaited on and will be managed by its own supervisor. So the task itself will not be linked to the current process, will be linked to the supervisor that we are going to provide, which is great in terms of the fault tolerances. If the task failed, then it won't take down our GenServer and can be restarted according to the supervisor restart strategy. In this case, the supervisor that is called task supervisor is the one that we are gonna add here as a child of our main application supervisor. So returning back to our GenServer, when we create a task using assign no link inside an OTP behavior like a GenServer, we need to handle the message come from the task through the handle info callback. In this case, we are gonna not use handle cast or handle call. The one that we are gonna use is the handle info callback. So the reply sent by the task will be in the format or the shape ref and result inside a tuple, in which ref is the monitor reference held by the task struct, and the result is the return value of the task function. So in this case, In our assign now link, we are going to add that heavy operation, the one that was blocking the client, the process that was making a request to our GenServer. So in this case, we are gonna store the return value of that heavy operation in these new currencies variable, and right after we are gonna return a tuple with an atom called add new currencies, and then the value that this function is returning. In this case, when we return a function in this shape, this will be handled by the handle info callback. In this case, we are gonna create two functions for the handle info. This is the one that will be handling the message itself of the response of a signal link, but we also need to add a handle info with the down message. Why we need to make this? We need to take into account that regardless of how the task created with a signal link terminates, the caller's process, in this case our GenServer, will always receive a down message with the same ref value that is held by the task struct. So if the task terminates normally, the reason in the down message will be normal. So let's take a look about how this GenServer is working if we add the assign now link in the handlecast function. We just gonna need to copy and paste the module name. We are gonna start executing the get element. In this case, it's an empty list since we don't have any currencies in our GenServer state. And let's see what happens if we execute the check for new currencies, the function that right now has the assign now link, and right after we execute the get elements. In this case, the heavy operation is being executed and we execute the get element, then the client is not blocking anymore. We can make that again, check for new currencies, and we can just execute the get element. This way, using the assign now link, we can isolate the heavy logic that can take some time, and this way we are not blocking our handlecast function, making the GenServer incredibly fast. Don't forget to visit learnelixir.dev/blog, in which you can have a bunch of useful blogs to continue learn Elixir. In particular, related to GenServers, you can find this one called The Danger of GenServers in Elixir. This article discusses common mistakes in using GenServers in Elixir. It warns, for example, against overusing GenServers as they can become bottlenecks due to processing only one message at a time. You will also see potential issues like message queuing, timeouts, and memory concerns. And also, this article suggests using registries for better parallelism and recommends alternatives like ETS or agent for caching instead of servers. Hope you have a great rest of the day and keep learn Elixir.